Hello YouTube, it's the Drunken Kobold here, today with the review and box opening of Curse of Strahd Covens and Covenants and Curse of Strahd Legends of Barovia. These are the first minis that have ever been released for the Curse of Strahd campaign and were released in conjunction with Curse of Strahd Revamped. Most of these are brand new minis. They have not been featured in Icons of the Realms before. There is two exceptions, which is Esmeralda and Strahd himself. So once we open these, we'll be able to look at the individual minis, give them a rank on how they stack up on value compared to regular Icons of the Realms versus the premium sets. These were advertised as part of the premium lineup. However, considering, bases are attached and these actually have numbers for the minis, I don't actually consider them part of the premium lineup and just consider them similar to a starter set booster. So, without further ado, let's start with Covens and Covenants. So, let me just pop that open there. Holy cow, this does not want to budge at all. There we go. So one thing you'll notice is similar to other premium sets is it comes in like a display that features the background of the terrain it's in, whereas most minis in booster packs have no such thing, and neither do the starter set minis. These are more like when you open the adult Sapphire Dragon and you see the cave. So the packaging for these is actually super cool. I do really like it. Let's just get these guys out of... So the first thing I'm noticing is these are stuck fast in here. They are not going anywhere. All right. So the first mini in the set is Morganthana. She is number 8 of 14. So this is a 14 mini set. She actually looks really good. She's got a little tiny pie in her hands. She's actually got like eyes that have whites and, like actual detail in the eye. You can see details in her skin and her clothes. So I'd say she's actually a pretty solid miniature. Let's see if we can get that on to focus. No, okay. Next we have Babala Sunbane. I just want to try something really quick here. No. Okay. So the Babala Sunbane mini, you can actually see like the stitching in her apron and like the folds in her dress. I'm not sure what race she is. She kind of looks like a human goblin orc. The spell that she's wielding in her hands is just, see-through plastic that's like colored. It's not actual painted plastic. And yeah, no, otherwise she's actually really good detail. You can see like, the folds in her hands. Like, these are actually really, really good minis. There's little parts where like the paint came off. Like not off the mini, but like off where it was supposed to be painted. Like if you can see there that a little bit came off of like her petticoat onto her apron. But other than that, like, that's a pretty minor flaw, all considered. Next we have Ophalia Wormwiggle, who kind of looks like a homeless guy. So once again, really high detail. His eyes are probably actually the biggest flaw here because they're just the whites. They didn't like put any dark in the middle. That's a pretty easy fix. I don't know if his mouth is like not painted or if he's kind of foaming at the mouth. I'm not entirely sure. His hair, clothing, everything has a lot of detail. And the lantern is actually really cool because like it has the like almost transparent plastic. So when it's held to a light, you can see the light shining through it. And when it sits on your table, you can actually see it like kind of hold the light that it takes in. So that's actually really super cool. The Abbot. The Abbot is 11 of 14. She's actually really low detail. Like she has the like, you know, proper eyes, you know, whites and irises, that's what they're called. You can see her eyebrows, her hands, the back of her hands, you can see the details here, but when you turn it around, it just looks like a flat mass. So it's kind of like they're like, oh, this is what the people will see. We don't see this, so we don't really work on that. She'd actually make a really, really cool like Archpriest mini too. I might actually use her for like an Archpriest in a coming campaign. Not entirely sure, but I really do like her. So this is the Silica. This is so far my least favorite mini. The details on it are kind of lost, especially in her hairpiece. The hairpiece kind of just blends in with the dress, even though it's a transparent plastic. A lot of the stitching on her clothes and her skin just looks like haphazard. It doesn't actually like, you know, line up with anything. So it just kind of looks like she's a mass of gray and then has like black lines. They don't actually look like stitches. Her face is actually really badly detailed, and there is almost no detail in what I'm assuming is the bouquet of flowers she's holding. So this is by far my least favorite mini from the set. Next we have Thorne, who I believe is actually the child from the Death House campaign. Thorne is really, really small. The detail on the clothing though, like holy cow. You can actually, like, I'll see if I can get that in there, because that's actually really worth like noting. It's like there is like a ton of detail in this coat, and there is actually decent detail in the face too. I just can't be sure what Thorne is holding because that isn't too detailed, but like they got some really, really minute details here that I have seen a lot of painters like personally try and paint on but fail. So I'm actually really, really impressed with Thorne. And next we have Rose, who I believe is the elder child of the Death House campaign. Once again, lots of detail in her coat. The face is a little lacking, but the coat, the hands, the cape, even the boots, there is lots of really, really nice details here. The face might be fixable, it might not entirely sure. But no, like these are actually really, really nice miniatures. All right, so that is the Covens and Covenants set. Let's open the Legends of Barovia. Now, Legends of Barovia is the one that has 7 minis, and 2 of them are minis that have already seen an Icons of the Realm printing. The other 5 have not. So let's first start with Rudolph Van Richten. He is a longtime vampire hunter who made his debut, I believe, in 2E. This is the first time he is seeing an Icons of the Realm printing. He has his trademark goggles, his sword. The bird head on the sword is present. He has a lot of his vampire hunting tools on him, as well as a very large tome, which I can only assume is basically his entire collected works of, every evil thing he knows. So it's actually really cool to see him finally brought to life in Icons of the Realms, and I look forward to actually fielding him. Next is Pittawick II. Pittawick, I believe, is a gnome. I'm not entirely sure. Kind of looks like a jester. Just like the Thorne mini, it's very small, but it has lots of detail in its coat. It's like the stuff it's holding, even its mask has lots of detail. Like you can see the lines where, because it's supposed to represent a skull, you can see the lines where its teeth are, where the nose would be, the red eyes. Like, this is actually a really, really nice mini. I actually really, really like it. This is Babala Saga. I believe she is a witch in the Curse of Strahd campaign. You can see that she is standing on a hill of skulls. The skulls are actually really, really nicely detailed. They remind me a lot of actually the Warhammer skulls that you can buy in like a kit and paint them in mounds to put on your battlefield. Lots of detail in her robes. The face is kind of lacking, like they did the eyes, but like there's no other details on the face. Her hands are really, really well detailed, as is her hair. So the only part that is really lacking on her is her face. One thing I might do is actually take a wash to the robes so that way the details stand out from further away, but they are extremely well detailed though, regardless. I actually really like this mini. I may use her as a hag mini in some campaigns where I am missing a particular hag. Here is the card reader herself, Madame Ava. She has her little Tarot deck, and it's actually really cool. Her, like, if you look, they actually put like details of the Tarot on the deck. Like, you can't distinguish what card it is, but it is clearly distinguishable as a Tarot card. Her face is really well detailed. You have her eyebrows, her lips, distinguished nose, whites and irises. Clothing is great. Yeah, I actually really like her. I am getting the Adventurer's campsite with Esmeralda's wagon, so I will be setting up like a Vistani encounter similar to the one that starts the Curse of Strahd adventure. And it's actually going to be really cool to have her. Alright, this is Mongrel Folk. He is another homeless looking human. Also has a lantern that functions in much similar to Wormwiggle's lantern. He is probably so far the least favorite of this set. His clothing, his face, everything is kind of really lacking detail here. He's got his like box on his back and the scroll here, but like other than that, he is really, really lacking detail. It looks like he might even actually be a werewolf. I'm not entirely sure. I'll have to look in the campaign and see what he is. All right, so now the two minis that are reprints. They are new sculpts compared to their old sculpts. So we have Strahd and Esmeralda. So, I take that back about what I said about him being my least favorite mini of this set. Esmeralda is by far the worst mini of probably this whole set. She has next to no detail. It's haphazard. Her face is almost completely obscured by hair, and there is like no detail in her face, just like black dots for eyes. The lips are actually like painted on the nose. So yeah, no, and she has like next to no detail to her, so this is actually an extremely disappointing mini. I much preferred the one that is in Monster Menagerie. Yeah, no, this one's actually just completely disappointing. I'm actually scared to take a close look at Strahd. So this is Strahd. And wow, they actually did him some justice. He's got his wine glass full of blood. His clothing is well detailed. His face looks great. Like, they got a lot of the details of Strahd that you see on, like, you know, the cover. The only complaint that I have here is the fingers go through the wine glass rather than around it, and they actually got some of the red paint on them that represents the blood in the wine glass. Other than that, he's actually a really, really nice mini. Definitely clearly a vampire, so he can serve as a vampire for other campaigns where vampires are needed. Overall, you have 3 so-so minis, a lot of really great minis. Actually, I can't even say that those 3 are so-so. The Esmeralda is terrible, absolutely terrible. And the 2 that I said kind of look meh, that would have been the Silica and Mongrel Folk. They're acceptable. They're not what I'd call, these are the meh minis. Esmeralda, terrible. And you have then, you know, 11 minis here that actually look really good. A couple minor details that, you know, I'd hope were better, but for the price point, I'd say these are actually really nice. It works out to, I believe, like $7 a mini. But some of the highlights of this set are definitely Thorne. Thorne is the most detailed mini of the set. Morganthana, she is another standout mini. Richten is a third standout mini. He looks absolutely fantastic, and I cannot wait to field him. And Strahd is the other standout mini here. So there are 4 really good standouts, 2 meh minis, and 1 absolutely terrible mini. So for a box set, like 2 box sets of 14 minis, I'd say that's actually a pretty good track record. I do like that a lot of these minis are new to Icons of the Realms. I'm glad that they didn't just like reprint a bunch of Monster Menagerie minis. I would have liked to have seen these minis, you know, 4 years ago when we got the original Curse of Strahd, especially because a lot of these characters do feature in the campaign, and we haven't had a proper mini for them for 4 years, unless you owned old minis. But not everybody, like D&D 5e is one of the most popular role-playing games on the planet right now. It ranks in the most revenue of all of them. So the fact that a lot of these didn't have minis sooner is kind of disappointing, especially as Curse of Strahd isn't exactly what you would call a relevant campaign right now. Like, it has the revamped, but groups aren't, you know, running up to like play it like with that they did with Adventure League. All in all, the really good minis, if you took the bad minis away, this would be like a good 9 out of 10 set. Putting in the meh minis brings it down to about an 8. I can't really fault the minis down to a 7 for Esmeralda. She is terrible, but she's one of 14, so that sits at an 8. What does bring it down to a 7 for me is the timing. This is a set that should have been done a lot sooner, and I am disappointed that it wasn't out sooner. So Icons of the Realm Curse of Strahd Premium Minis is a 7 out of 10 for me. Do you agree with my assessment? Let me know in the comments down below. If you feel I deserve it, please leave a like and consider subscribing. I have more videos coming in the near future, including unboxing a Polychronos and a Treant, as well as the Warlock tiles, so do keep your eyes open for that. That is all for now. Cheers, and may the rolls be with you.